rush, or I'll start game 2 with a cannon rush. And we've seen Zest do something I haven't seen him do for nearly a decade of casting StarCraft, and that's be cheesy. I love seeing him expand his I guess skill set, or maybe he just was phoning it in. Whatever the case is, Zest has been in a pretty good shape. However, as much as I could talk up a big game for Zest, let's be clear, Ragnarok is the one on the hot streak. Ragnarok's been doing very well with the ESL Cups. Someone would have to go tally what his points are at right now. He's been doing pretty good. But anyways, Ragnarok, the last few times I've seen him, he's been looking borderline unbeatable. So I actually favored Ragnarok quite heavily in this matchup, and it has nothing to do with the balanced mind of Zerg or anything like that. I just think Ragnarok's been making a lot of good decisions, and he's been playing like he's on fire. But not like a, oh my god, it's so hot, I'm dying, please, my skin is melting kind of fire, but more like, damn, he's so fucking hot right now kind of fire. Anyways, a small pause at the start of the game. It's usually nothing too urgent. If your mouse is just glitching or you forget to change your settings, so Zest just relieves whatever the issue there was. Well, the Overlord's going to get clear view of what's going on because of this little cliff. I don't know, anyone who's watching, or maybe you watch this on YouTube later, has a comment on this, but I heard somebody was talking about how they might start removing these little safety pillars in some of the new maps coming up in the rest of the year. I don't know if that's true or if that's just like gossip and rumor that's going on, but I just want to say I'd actually be super in favor of that. And not, again, not because of any balance one reasons. It's just, it's been such a staple thing. For years, literally years, Zerg haven't guaranteed this free spot. I would just love to see how it shakes things up for them to not have that freebie scouting. And again, if it's broken, then put it back, right? But I would love to see it change things up and see if it affects any of the matchups. I mean, a lot of people, for example, thought the creep tumor change was going to destroy Zerg's ability to spread creep. Every pro on Twitter was like, this is impossible, without having played a single game with it. And now that we've obviously seen it in play, it's totally fine. But oh no, more of the same flavor. This time it gets scouted really easy. So Ragnarok slips a couple links into the main base of Zest. I didn't expect this. I wasn't looking for it. But while he does sneak in, he sees the Twilight Council. And more importantly, he sees the Twilight Council ticking away. And this is, nowadays, you would guess, oh, maybe this was Charge Lot all in. No. Charge Lots are kind of just, they're good, but they're not early game rush all in good anymore. So when you see this, it's almost guaranteed to be Resonating Glaives. It's almost certain to be Adepts. And as you can see, Ragnarok has already cut out worker production. He's starting to invest in roaches and lings. I don't know if he plans to actually take this all in across the map or not, but he is going to have an army that is more than capable of fighting what Zest plans to use in this game. It would be cool if I could time out people with bits in this stream. Is that like an extension people have? Monty, you find me the extension, I'll install that shit right away. That sounds like fun. Okay, with Resonating Glaives at his disposable, Zest. Oh no. Oh, I said disposable. I meant to say disposal. Quick correction there, but he completely misses it. Ragnarok dives past everything. And Ragnarok might be willing to say, look, Zest, you want to kill my worker lines? Go for it. I'm going to kill your everything back at home. In fact, Zest has already recalled the work person back to the main base. He's very aware of the dire situation he's in. Oh my god, you hate to see it. The unpower on 3 gateways. Now, theoretically, the Warp Prism could go into deployment mode and power up those gateways for some warp-ins, but if he does, it puts it in a static location and runs the danger of being hit with Corrosive Biles. Yeah, okay, there we go. He has to warp in because he's got 500 minerals he can't spend. Dodges the Corrosive Bile. Okay. Probe's getting pulled in once more. The fight's almost been dealt with fully at this point. Ragnarok has done a lot of damage to at least even up the worker count in this game, so he's on even footing to fight with. He's also stopped Zest from going across the field while he established his proper third base at his natural. So while this didn't win the game for Ragnarok, it went really well in my opinion. And Zest actually, because he doesn't have that pylon, has to keep this warp prism deployed. He can't run across the map with it right away, or he loses the ability to warp in. So he warps in a couple sentries, puts it on cooldown, pylon finishes up, and now he begins his assault nearly a minute and a half later than he initially wanted to. And in fact, the army graph kind of reflects that it's maybe a little bit closer to 2 minutes than whatever. But the point is, it's not semantics. It's just tough losing that timing. I don't know what he plans to do here. There's more than enough Zerglings from Ragnarok. A full surround on any Adepts to be certain. And the transfer pickup was so quick. I literally didn't even see it. I don't know how Zest just did that, actually. Okay, 5 Adepts, 6 Adepts, lots of Adepts. There's a Dark Shrine follow-up to this, and Zest, whether it does it through DTs or whether he does it through Archons, those will be a lot more powerful and more convincing to me. You drag and drop the drones, but he's gonna see the natural base on the way. This natural base turning into a layer most notably, so that will reduce the chance DTs will work, as Overseer should be on the map. So I don't think he's gonna go for the risky move on that one. It is, and it's an extension Nikki has. Oh God, am I about to rip off Nikki Taylor? Just a bit to time out the peeps. Well, if you guys find me the extension name, I'd be happy to put it on and we can play around with it. But less worried about that right now. Obviously, Ragnarok knows there's an observer, or else the creep tumors cannot have been cleaned up. So, assuming there are eyes on him, he can't really play sneaky at the moment. Not that there's a lot of opportunity. Right now, I think the only thing he'd be hiding is whether he's going for more workers or not. Wanting Zest to think that there's a different type of army size than there really is. Also have a bit of a YOLO scout to the main base. Overseer will see all, though. And the Overlords at the third base also know that there's not a proper third base up right now. So Ragnarok can kind of afford to keep investing in an army like this. I think he knows the position he's in at the moment. That War Prism getting dangerously low, by the way, to that Queen. Like, if you can kill these Archons, that's great. But it's all about killing that War Prism to push it off. So almost losing that's very scary. That's going to be pulled away. Forge starts up, whether that's for upgrades or cannons, either way, good to have. And of course, speed is being researched for the roaches as we speak. Still looking for an opportunity to get in here. Zest isn't finding many. The Archons do hit the main base up, and well, it looks like they've traded out for a good chunk of Zerglings, but yeah, the recall makes the most sense here. There's not a lot he can do. The Queen range is really big. A couple of the Adepts wrap around the mineral lines. Looks like that'll kill 1 or 2 of the drones. Well, 4 to be precise, but not bad. Zergling confirms the attempt at taking a third. Zest just be a little cautious about this now, because there's a good chance Ragnarok tries to shut that down. Ragnarok could also just continue macroing himself, but most often, if you see something like that, you know it's going to be not very well guarded. Tear your opponent back and forth. Yeah, Ragnarok has persevered through a lot. His worker count has not netted him the craziest income advantage of all time, but it is worth saying that he is ahead on the income. Oh my God, you can look at that, by the way. You ever wonder like exactly what an income lead looks like? Well, I can show you this graph. You might not be able to make heads or tails of it, because what does the advantage even mean? You look at the army graph. This is what I'm talking about. With more money, you don't have more problems. With more money, you have more roaches. 118 army supply. Zest is gonna have to work his ass off for this battle. He doesn't have crazy immortals, but 4 of them seem like plenty. Archon's gonna help a little bit too. That War Prism's very low though, has to be so cautious. Fishing up those immortals though has to be priority 1. Saving the first 2, scoops into the back. Start holding this for now. Crystal balls are starting to break. Some probes were pulled too, maybe a little preemptively. Oh, this is right in the thick of it. Archons are in the mix too. Archons, of course, do bonus damage to everything here, but losing out on these immortals, these are going to be seriously the difference of winning the fight versus winning the game. Oh my God, he's getting collapsed on. He's only got 2 left to work with. The Archon at the top's going to pop. Excuse me, 3 left to work with. Well, now 2 left to work with. 14 probes died. Meanwhile, there were some counterattack measures that took place. I'm assuming they were Adepts. Sorry, we weren't looking over there, guys. There's obviously a lot of focus on what's going on here. But it looks like worker kills have been minimized, so that's on lockdown for Ragnarok. Now it's about Zest getting control of the situation. Ragnarok's got notably less workers because he had less workers going into this, so losing them was, of course, costly, but I think the idea is you want to win this game, not play crazies with income. That 118 army supply through some significantly awesome micro. Messy battles for sure, but starts turning this into just melted Zerg pudding, guts on the front line, and okay, it's pretty solid. Zealot speed, by the way, is so nice. We want to just chase those units down like that. A couple more warp ins back at home. I think Zest may have thought he had his own zealots. They're just changelings. You know, he has his real zealots out. He has deflected this in all of its entirety, and that counterattack he pulled off while this went on, well, I didn't get to pay attention to the actual like fight itself. We knew it did damage, and it's done significant enough damage that Ragnarok is now in the worst spot he could be in. He's got less army supply. Remember, this was an army supply that was double. Now it's going in even footing, and he expects to win. This is going to be a hell of a fight. Well, let's not forget too, Zest has like 100 zealots. Okay, an over exaggeration, but he's got a ton of zealots. They've got +1 weapons. They tear through the Zerglings very quickly here, and thanks to their just native speed, they can keep up with the roaches on creep. GG's get called. Zest takes game number 1. Okay, welcome back. Game number 2 in this best of 3. Spawning here to the upper right side of the map, we have the blue Zerg returning. It's Ragnarok. He's down 1, however, to his opponent. In the bottom left, the pink Protoss Zest. Now, I'm like realizing that fight from Zest is pretty good. I'm actually watching it on stream delay right now because, of course, for those who don't know, there's a 2-minute stream delay per ESL's rules. And I don't think I gave it enough credit in the cast, actually. That was, with so few units, I was expecting him to fall apart. So I just kind of went, yeah, whatever. But that was actually pretty dope out of Zest, having rewatched that on the side. So super kudos to this guy. We'll see if he can keep up that momentum, or maybe he falls apart. I don't know. Either way, the other series it's concluded. We know who's in the finals. This match pretty much determines whether it's ZVP or ZVZ. And if I'm being brutally honest, with no outside factors other than just not wanting to see a mirror matchup, I am rooting for Zest to win this. Zest versus Scarlet will be a fascinating match, to say the least, if it goes there. I think Ragnarok and Scarlet would also be a fun match, but I know a lot of people are not as fan of ZVZs the same way I am. I still can't believe both Trap and Zest pulled off those defenses, though. It made them look so flawless. I feel bad for the Protoss players watching this stream saying, oh, if that's all I have to do, they make their own War Prism, they make their own Immortals, they go into that same battle, you know, Masters League, Diamond League, and they just fall apart because they don't have the micro of Zest or Trap. Like, it's just insane watching what these guys can do. And the worst part is, like, how do you balance stuff in this game when you've got people like that? When you Maru and others just like so top of their class, you can't give them any buffs, you can't give them any nerfs. They're just unstoppable because of who they are, not because of the units they're playing with. What's up, Joe McSassy? Or Joe McSassy, excuse me. A base trade TV streamer early in the morning. What time is it for you? It's like 1 a.m. here. It's like, I don't know about you guys out there. My opinion is 3 a.m. is late, and anything after 3 a.m. is early. So if it's like 4 a.m., it's early. If it's 3 a.m., it's late. But we're far, far, far away from being early. Frankenfurter, thank you for the 50-month resub. Keeping me on my toes here while there's not too much happening in the early game. We're going to see Zest invest in a Twilight Council one more time. I'm not convinced that game was made by Resonating Glaives. If that's his plan, though, and he wants to stick to it, one thing I've known from Zest is over his years of good play, he's had not a lot of variety of openers. That's why I got really excited about watching him do cannon rushes and stuff a few cups ago. Because for Zest, he's very much a player who he builds the same way every game. And he'll win, he'll lose, he'll win, he'll lose based on his own decision-making and his control of his units, not because of the build order. Or at least historically, I think majorly that'll be the case. But regardless, I don't have any qualms with him opening however he wants to open. Just because I know that whatever he does, he'll play it out to the best of his capabilities. But we are waiting on gas to see if it is going to be Resonating Glaives or not. Yep. Sorry, I had to fight back a yawn there mid-sentence. 1 a.m. But yeah, Resonating Glaives. Okay, so let's talk about the pros and cons of this, right? This is like having a stim on all the time. It's nice. Your dep's going to fire a lot faster. They still deal the same amount of damage. They just deal it out much quicker. Was it like 30% quicker? 45% quicker. Excuse me. So, while not making these into like machine gun units, it does suddenly make them a lot better versus roaches. They're every third shot getting a bonus hit in and what have you. So This is something where it's totally viable to have on the field. I just don't like the all-in component to it. So when you hear me talk about resonating glaives for Protoss, I'm really referring to the actual upgrade itself. I think the upgrade is fantastic, and similar to Terran building armor, they're these upgrades that you can't always go for in a game, but you would totally love to any opportunity you can. Zest is making that opportunity here by researching it first, but then it goes back to what I was discussing and whether it's all in and whether it's something that gets abused or not. I actually really liked Ragnarok's reaction last game by taking it home to Zest, but that timing's not there. So as this Warp Prism saunters on over, Ragnarok will have to play defense against this, and he will have to chase these from mineral line to mineral line, which is never particularly fun to do. Hey, Tasha C85, thank you for the 15 months, bro. Bearman Pig says, I miss this chat so much. Holy shit, I'm sorry I've been gone ASDF forever. Well, you know what? Don't worry about it, man. Welcome back. It's like you never left. You're right back home. Also, Kami, do me a favor. I know it's a stream delay, so it's be difficult to do. Kami, can you link me that clip you made of Trap's Warp Prison play? I'm gonna go post that to Twitter later. I didn't get to look at it earlier because we went from game to game so quickly. Anyways, the attack has obviously commenced here. Resonating Glaives will clear out the Zergling Glaives pretty quickly. How late and how long does it take to deal with the Roaches? We're actually not seeing Warp Prism Micro, which I think is interesting. Like, Zest could have easily saved 3 or 4 more of those Adepts with, I think, not too much extra effort. They transfer over this side. Warp Prism gets picked off by the Queen of the Third, so it's pushed away. These Adepts might not have an exit strategy. These might just be do or die Adepts. And if they do, well, then they won't die, which is good. Or if they die, at least they're done. Look, I'm phrasing this as confusingly as possible. I sound like a Dr. Seuss book. But whatever the case is, Redfish, Bluefish, these Adepts have killed 8 drones and denied significant mining because, of course, Ragnarok had to pull these drones off of mining to run them away to safety. And even then, safety's not that far away when 11 of them have still died. Round 2 of, well, actually, technically round 3, I guess, of the Adepts over here. This is pushed off. Stabilizing around 38, 40-ish workers. Ragnarok's not too badly shapen after this, but he has no means to go for a counterattack. All hands on deck. He must play defensive against the Adepts, lest he lose this game. And he's starting to really run out of army supply at the rate this is going. Now we're starting to see some of that Adept micro come in. You know what this is? This is Zest with the last roll of TP. We've all been there. You know, the TP's running out, so you start being a little bit more conservative. You're like, oh, you know what? Maybe I could get away with 2 pieces instead of 5. And suddenly you're like, oh, great, I'm still out of toilet paper, but at least I lasted longer. That's like the complacency of those Adepts earlier. I feel his first attack was a brand new full roll of toilet paper. This attack was him kind of a week into self-isolation. Side note, I don't know if you guys have seen, there's like websites out there right now to act like, this is not a troll thing, to actually help people calculate how much time they have left with their current toilet paper usage. It's like, it sounds so funny, but you realize it's actually such a real thing now. I hate 2020. I read this on Reddit. Someone wrote, 2020 is only 3 months in, but it already feels like it's been a decade, and I couldn't agree more. I hate this year so much. Another great meme too was someone took a picture of like Wesley and Picard from Star Trek, and it's like, why don't doors have handles anymore? And Picard's like, let me tell you about 2020. ... It's getting too close to home, man. It's getting too close to reality. Not like this. We thought we'd get to space age, but not like this. Spire's kicking up for Ragnarok. Finally gonna be able to fight back after taking all that abuse in the early game. He has stabilized very well. His income has trailed quite a bit though. You saw these big spikes primarily from when he was pulling the workers away. It's not like he lost so many workers he couldn't mine anymore. He just had to pull them away. So we do see that big income lead there for Zest briefly, but still that's like 1,000 minerals gained. It's so good. And while they both continue to stay on pretty much the same worker count, and they're both on 3 bases, and their income looks oddly similar now, I still think we're going to see Zest max out a lot quicker. But, and this is where the game turns to Ragnarok. How does he use these mutas? If Zest is so busy chasing the mutas around similar to the way Ragnarok was chasing Adepts around, Zest won't be able to push out, and he certainly won't be able to expand. So I think there's a lot of power in what these mutas bring, but right now we're only seeing him make 9. Now, I usually call these Bly mutas. Obviously, every player does this, so it doesn't belong to one, but 8 to 9 Mutalisks with no investment further can get so much done with good control and give Ragnarok the illusion of aggression while having the same freedom of a good defense back at home. Or I should have said that in reverse. He has a good attack with the illusion of a good defense. There you go. There's not a lot of openings, but I mean, with only a single cannon to deter these attacks, the mutas can actually stick around for a bit. Now he's getting lazy, he's getting complacent. He loses the muta there, might even lose 2. 3? I don't think this is worth 10 workers, Ragnarok. Okay, I'm really not satisfied with the way he handled this. Zest missing a couple shots, though, picks off another muta. So that was, to be clear, 13 probes for 3 mutalisks. On paper, that's not too bad of a trade, but when you assume that Ragnarok's not going to be making any more mutalisks for the duration of this game, it's really hard to justify losing 3 so quickly like that. But let's be clear, 13 workers is 13 workers. And it gets Ragnarok back in this economically. That spike's going to favor him for a moment. Only for a moment. Exercising their freedom to come down here. They do see the 4th base attempting to be taken. Ragnarok has already taken his. And there's Storm coming out of Zest next too. Storm, not so much for the mutas, but I imagine a lot more for these lings and roaches. And we saw a really good example of this in game 1 of Trap versus Scarlet tonight. And ways you can counter this and stop this from being an overwhelming pain train. And ooh, storms were an integral part of that. That being said, even though Storm has completed... actually, there's about 4. Okay, I thought these were warped in fresh and new. They don't have to wait for energy. There are 4 Templar ready to lay down the law. The funny thing about seeing Charge finish up at this point is like it's actually just going to bring the Zealots to their death faster. He's going to walk into Banelings. Baneling speed. He's probably waiting for Baneling speed to begin the fight, I would imagine. Or maybe not. Ooh, okay. Yeah, he's going to wait for Baneling speed 5 seconds ago. Easy. Checks in with the mutas, sees what the army supply looks like. I don't know if you got a clear view of the Templar or not, because they were kind of kept in the back. But coming in from 2 different angles. Oh, wait a minute. Does Zest not have a warp prism to shuttle these around? Where is it? The warp prism's on the other side of the map. Oh, no. They're dead. They're dead. He's dead. He's lost. At least he's lost this defense. I mean, it's probably game over. Spiraling after out of control. A couple of adepts are not going to make up this damage on the other side of the map. I mean, 6 workers died. Kind of minimal, but the base was fairly valuable. Especially as Ragnarok has his own 4th base up. He's going to start skyrocketing in income and money here very soon. Now, the mutas do not find the warp prism, which is a little unfortunate, but Ragnarok, despite running away from these stalkers, I think he really, if he wanted to, just F2 a move, kill most of what's here. Because what's here is not really that much. Maple Leafs, thank you for the donation. That's a big message. I'll read after the game's done, but thank you so much for the... It was a 7-ish dollars. I'm assuming you got Canadian on the conversion rate there, dude, but thank you. All right. Warp Prism still not cleaned up, but the depths have been dealt with. 11 workers die, and this actually does a pretty good job of nullifying Ragnarok's income lead. You're going to see that actually even up here pretty well. Oh my god, they still not see it? Okay, they see it. I always forget that the Koreans, for some reason, really like to use the Diva announcer pack, and I can't abide, man. I get scared to check their vision because I know that if I do, I'm going to hear Diva yelling at me. All right, since we have a bit of break in the action, I'm going to read that message out. Maple Leafs tipped $7.45 to say, Diamond Zerg trying to learn Terran. Here are my observations so far. Losing as Terran is tilt bait because of the race design. Not saying it's harder or easier, it just feels like it's always one big fight that kills me. When I'm Zerg, I don't feel tilted when I lose. Interesting. I wonder how much of a factor that is into people like sticking with their races versus changing things. I've always thought Terran very similar to this, not in a balanced one way, but in just like a feels too real way. There's that gif of Robert De Niro playing like ping pong like a crazy man, right? Or maybe he's the one who's hitting it. Anyways, one person's playing ping pong like nuts and the other person's just standing there like deflecting the shots like it's nothing. And I feel like that's the best representation of how it feels to play Terran. Like you're trying to do so much, you're doing a million things, you're doing 17 drops, and the other guy's just sitting there like, all right, whatever. Like, so when you lose, it feels like, man, I've put so much work into this game. The Zerg players didn't. I deserve this more. And I think that contributes to the tilt factor. But I mean, that's a balance 1E joke and not at all close to the real truth of it. In fact, if you listen to it, funny enough, the pros are complaining about Terran nonstop. Rainer was very vocal about this when we had him on stream the other day, but many pros are going to tell you Terran's way too overpowered, and many Terrans are going to tell you Zerg's still broken. So, you know, take from it what you will. Extrapolate your own experiences at your own leagues and ranks, I suppose. I think we can all agree on this though. No matter what race you play, no matter what league you are, losing feels like bullshit because you put so much effort into a small period of time. All right, looks like some adepts got up here to the top side, so a few workers died. Nothing too insane. This is a very nice attempt to run by with banlings. Obviously doesn't quite connect, but with cannons coming up and shield batteries, he should be sealing off this opening. We're also seeing Zest do something very similar to what we saw Trap do. Late game as carriers. I'm not a huge fan of carriers, and I haven't been for some time, but at every possible balance change moment that I've complained about Zest doing this, he has pulled out victory. So, I will say nothing and try not to influence this in any kind of mystical way. I hate the currency exchange, Lamau. You know what, dude? I'm gonna break the streamer. Dude, other streamers are gonna hate me for breaking my silence on this. I'm gonna tell you guys the truth right now. Whether you donate $10, $5, $2, it doesn't fucking matter to me, dude. The fact that you're choosing to spend your own hard-earned cash on me at all makes me feel equally happy no matter what the value is. However, you come in here, you drop like a hundo bomb like some people have, okay, then I'm a fucking lose my shit. Thank you so much, right? But don't ever feel bad, man. Don't ever let me shame you for that currency exchange. I know that feeling too. Actually, sometimes it works out really well for me though. Like I'll transfer like, you know, $1,000 from US to Canadian. I'm like, oh, cool. I suddenly have $1,500. I'm rich. It's obviously not the correct number. It's just a joke. Passaging lands coming up for the follow-up for Ragnarok. I don't know how good Passaging lands will help him here with the carrier problem, but what it will do... Oh, the Bailey's got some pretty good connects despite the storm. Then he meat grinds the follow-up ones. Okay, I think like half those banlings even connected, but my point of this was I think Zest has just got it, man. The carriers are too hard to deal with. In fact, Ragnarok agrees. GG. Zest takes the 2-0 and moves on to the final. So it's going to be Zest versus Scarlet